Hi guys, Angelina Kelly here for Full Time Devils. Now, today we are going to be talking a little bit about the women's football team for Manchester United. Not a lot of average United fans maybe know that much about the team, so we have brought in two experts to give us a little bit of knowledge on that. So we are joined today by David. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all good, and we are joined by Nat as well. How are you doing?
Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot for having me on. Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Right. So let's get into it. So one of the questions, the main questions I think you ask is, how did you start watching women's football? Like, what made you maybe deviate from the men's football to start watching the women?
So for me personally, I watch all aspects of United. Watch the first team, and I follow the under-23s and under-18s home and away. So when the opportunity came to watch the women's team, I got given a free ticket for the first home game. So I just thought, yeah, I'll go along just to see what it was all about, just to say I was there, basically. And really enjoyed it. I was quite surprised because I've not watched much women's football, and I thought the level of football was quite good, really. And after that, I went to the next away game, and we won 12-0, which was ridiculous. And I just thought, I've not seen anything ever like that. And I just got hooked, and not stopped going ever since.
Yeah, for me, it's the same as Dave. Went to that first game, was encouraged by other friends, went to the 12-0 at Aston Villa last year, and I think it's a sense of community there. Not saying that we've not got that at Old Trafford, but it's really like all the fans are together, all the players are together. The interaction that you get with the players, with the management team, you can speak to everyone, chat to everyone. It's a really good environment, and it feels like the United way. So for me, I always love going Old Trafford, but I love watching the women's team just as much.
Yeah, I think I was at that first game, and I think for me, I was kind of worried about the attendance because obviously women's football doesn't maybe get the best attendance anyway. And I was thinking, are people gonna kind of travel? Because obviously it's where the under-21s play as well, isn't it? Where the women play, but obviously not everyone knows that. But I think the attendance was amazing. It was something now I'm not the biggest, I will admit. I've not got the most knowledge when it comes to the women's football, hence why you two are going to educate me a little bit. But I think it was over 2,000 or something.
Yeah,
it
was 5,000. 5,000.
Really?
Yeah,
there you go then.
That's 4,900. That's one of our biggest attendance so far. But we get an average of about 2,000, and that's the highest across Super League and the Women's Championship, which we were in last year. So there is a strong following growing. We've got our own supporters club with Barmy Army. Me and Dave are part of it. We do Fancams on FullTimeDEVILS, trying to get people to come down. But like you say, it's where the under-21s play. So if you go to the under-21s, it's the same place. It feels like a little United home. So I think more people should come down, definitely.
I think with what you were saying about it being such a sense of community, and it's not as kind of, without this coming across in a wrong way, it's not like the glitz and glamour of United where you've got all the cameras and the players are a million miles away, and you know that you're never going to see them unless you queue up for 20 hours after the game or something. Yeah. You kind of got that relationship, I think, and I think that's a really nice one, that you can have that. But Dave, you touched on you've always watched the men's football as well. Does it affect the way that you watch the men's game in any way?
The only thing that really affects it is it clashes sometimes with the men, and like I say, with my academy side, watching the 23s and under-18s, there's always going to be a point where matches clash, and that's been the main issue of knowing which game to go. Luckily, girls play on a Sunday, and they play usually 12 o'clock. I don't know why, but Casey likes to have it dead early on a Sunday. So if we're playing at home, United playing at home at Old Trafford on a Sunday, it's either 2 or 4 o'clock. So you can rush from Leeds to get to Old Trafford. So in them cases, it's not been too bad. It's where there's been away games where we've been to, West Ham away, for example, and then the men have been playing at the same time. That's where they have the issues. But all in all, you just got to juggle it really and prioritize what you have to watching. But what we'll say about what you're saying earlier about the community side of it, what you do see is a lot of families going as well. Dad taking the two kids and mum taking the kids, because the prices are quite cheap as well compared to, if you've got to take the kids to Old Trafford, it's going to cost you £100 over. That's before you even start getting drinks and stuff. I think the most expensive ticket to watch the women, I think, is £6 at least. So yeah, you see a lot of families going, and the kids just love it because it's football, it's Manchester United, and more, especially last season, we were winning each week.
Yeah, I think for me, regarding like the bits that I've seen of the women's game, probably just makes me more irritated with the men's game, I would say, because obviously like last season, like the fact that the women's team got promoted, like they were playing so well and got so many decent results, like you mentioned that 12-0. I'm kind of sat there looking at the men like, why aren't you doing this? What's going on? Like, if anything, it would probably just frustrate me more.
Yeah, I think
it's been a little bit. Oh, sorry. It's been a little bit different this season. Last season, we were the only full-time team in the championship. All the other teams were part-time. So we were, it was the reason why we're beating them each week. But this season, it's been much tougher. It's not been the same as it was last season. The fact that we're not winning every game, and when we do win, it's a lot tighter. But I think that makes it more entertaining. When don't get me wrong, it's great when you thrash teams and you're winning by 5-6-0, but a close game where you really earn that result, I prefer that.
Yeah. For me, games as well against like City and Liverpool, they have been tight, but they've been the ones even say where we've lost by a goal. It's been edge to edge. There's been drama. The ball cross the line, things like that, and it's taking you back to. There's still that passion there of a United win. We beat Liverpool 2-0 this season, and when we scored in like the 75th minute, the whole place exploded because it's beating Liverpool. And for me, I get that same feeling going to Old Trafford and watching the lads and watching the girls. And I think the way you can get around it is like a lot of the say if the lads play on a Saturday at Old Trafford and then go and watch the girls on a Sunday, and those have been like the really full filling weekends, because you're watching two lots of United, and if you get 2 wins, it makes your weekend even better.
Or 2 losses, and then you just got your head in your eyes.
Or a win and a loss, and it makes up for it, or something like that.
Right, so talk me through that debut season now. How important do you think it was, like when this women's team was being built? How vital do you think it was to get a manager like Casey Stoney to get such a massive name in women's football? That must have surely been vital to, I assume, like the morale around this team being built up. Because I guess, a team's being built, we don't really know what's going to happen. Like, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? So to get a name like that must have been massive.
For me, like I said, I didn't really know much about women's football before United had a team, but I'd heard of Casey because Phil Neville was the England manager and she was his assistant, so I had heard of her. But when you look at what she's done in the past, what she's won and the amount of caps she's had for England, if you're in that women's team, the girls who are playing for other teams, and Casey approaches you saying, do you want to join us? They're going to really look at that and think, yeah, I really want to join Casey because what she's done in the past. And she's proved last season what a manager she is. The players she brought in have been brilliant. The way we played football was brilliant. I mean, we won the league quite easily, and it was just all out entertainment.
Yeah, definitely for me, Casey is, she really is that central point for the girls team. She speaks the United way. Even like I didn't know her like Dave. I'd heard that she played for England. She got over 160 caps, I think, for England. But when you just listen to her speak, you can tell how much it means to her. I think she's a United fan as well, so she can tell how much she wants to win with this team, wants to take us to the top. She was talking about, Champions League, this team winning the Champions League. That's what you want to hear from your manager. And that's when you hear, this team always has to win. This team must win against City, must win against Liverpool. That's a manager I can get behind easily.
Yeah, 100%. I remember seeing her name. Like I say, I didn't really know much, but her name was probably one of the most standout ones in women's football. So I think appointing her was absolutely massive. But just touching on that debut season, I mean, it was quarterfinals of the FA Cup, I think semi-finals of the League Cup, and obviously winning the league and therefore getting promoted. Like, talk us through that debut season.
It was just unreal, really, considering a brand new team when we got that far. We easily won the league. The teams we came across in the Super League, we did quite well against. Liverpool was the very first game. I missed it, unfortunately, because one of my best mates got married and I was there, so I missed the game. But they beat Liverpool in the first season, which is unreal. They were a Super League team. We were a brand new team. They managed to beat them. We struggled against Reading, and I think we have struggled against Reading even up to this day. They're just matches against us. But it was just we beat West Ham. We played Arsenal away and only narrowly got beat. I think we were just there or thereabouts. You know, they're one of the best teams that's been in the Super League, and we only just got beat by him. It was just tremendous, really. And even this season, you look at City. We beat City, who are one of the top teams, and you just got to look at the history of what we are. We're nothing, really. It's been less than 2 years, and we're already beating these kind of teams. And if we can get a consistent run of beating these teams, who knows how far we can get.
Yeah, for me, a bit of standout of last year was just, I think, winning every game, really. Pretty much, we didn't win every game, but, you know, winning the league at a canter, 5-6, and, you know, I know it's not like that as much anymore, but, you know, winning teams 12-0, 6-0, 8-0, and playing that attacking football, that's what I loved about last year.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, to have got the wins that they got, and also to, you know, have got to a decent level in the FA Cup and the League Cup, it must have been a very strong squad. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really know much about that squad. Who would you say were the standout players of the first season?
For me, Jess Sigler up front. She was just golden boot, scoring all the time, and she, that 12-0 against Aston Villa, she scored 5 goals in that game, which was ridiculous, really. In the middle, we had Katie Zellum doing really well. I thought Molly Green last season did really well. She got quite a few goals. We've got youngster Lauren James, who, you know, the future, what she can do. Honestly, there's no telling what she can do. She's such a good player. And at the back, Millie Turner, who's been brilliant. And for me, the best player of the season last season was Alex Greenwood at left back. She also played a bit in midfield at certain games against the tougher teams. Unfortunately, she left the Leon at the end of the season. But all in all, the team was just perfect for the championship. It was too good for the championship, really.
Yeah, you know, Dave's mentioned a few names there. You know, Millie Turner, Katie Zellum. Those are really standout players. And I mean, Lauren James. If anyone can ever watch highlights of her, or even watch her live, just the things that she does with the ball is amazing. The way she jinks from left to right. And I'm going to shout out Leah Galton, who's done really well as well this year, bombing down the wing, up and down, left winger, sort of like a Ryan Giggs kind of mould, the way she's running, her success rate, her pass rate, crossing in the box all the time. Like, she is one of the best wingers I've seen in the women's game. And, you know, for me, there's no difference, men, women, you know, it's good players playing. So, you know, more people down supporting, watching what they're doing, it's good.
Yeah, definitely. And what, obviously, you mentioned that Alex Greenwood left. How has it been so far this season? I know you say, obviously, it's been tougher. They are in, you know, they've been promoted up a league that's got, you know, teams like you say, Manchester City, Everton, teams that are playing in the Champions League as well. So, I mean, how has it gone this season? Have you, obviously, you kind of touched on, you've noticed that there has been obviously a difference in the teams that you play in, the ability of these teams. How has it been so far, minus, well, before Corona?
It's been better than what I thought. I thought we'd struggle a lot more. I think the teams, when they've played well, they played really well, but when they've not, they've been awful. I mean, the quite a recent game against Brighton away, we were just dreadful, absolutely dreadful. But yeah, maybe like I mentioned there, losing certain players has maybe cost us a couple of points. I think Casey's brought in other players, but she's like once again bringing young players in to build a team. Really, she hasn't really got that superstar. If you know what I mean, buying these big name players, which I can understand what she's doing. She wants a team to build, but you don't get that instant success. Then you got to wait for it a little bit. But this season, it's been much better than what I thought. If it was when now we'd finish fourth, which unreal really, because you got Arsenal, Chelsea, and City, who were the most dominant teams, and we're just below them really. There's a bit of a gap, but we're the next team. So all in all, it's been a top season really. Like I say, there's certain games where we should have won. I mean, the City in the cup really, that was a bit daft. Reading away, where I don't know if you saw it, but we got a penalty against us for handball when a girl headed it, and just little daft things like that. But yeah, I've been happy. So if it ended now, I'd be happy with it.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. Fourth, I think for me was an aim. I think coming up from the Championship into the Super League, so into the top league, it was never going to be we're going to win back-to-back trophies. I think people couldn't understand. You're stepping up a level, stepping up a league. There's teams, Arsenal there that have won Champions Leagues, have done been at the forefront of women's football forever. So for us to go in there, compete against these teams, yes, we've been beaten by Arsenal, but to not get embarrassed and to go toe to toe with them, beating City, beating these big teams that have been in the league for a while. We easily beat Everton twice, and in the League Cup. So I think I think for us, fourth is a good position, and I think it's just a case of finish fourth this year and next year push on, push up. Third is Champions League. Who knows what we can do? It's just setting the little steps at a time, And so I think fourth, after winning the Championship, is a good season for us.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even if you take the men's league, for example, you look at teams that come up. You look at maybe like a Sheffield United with the men's league, and it's kind of like a shock that they're doing so well. Everyone expected them to be more towards the relegation zone. So I think the fact that the women's team, props to them, and they should be getting more credit with that, because I think to be able to be competing with, some of the teams that you've mentioned, and, so they've beat City. Did you say they beat Liverpool? They didn't beat Liverpool, but it wasn't an embarrassing result.
They beat City, beat Liverpool, and got beaten by Arsenal, but only a 1-0 in the 80th minute. So for me to do that against a team like Arsenal, we could have really got a few goals ourselves, if we were a bit clinical, but it's a second game in the Super League. So have a game like City and then Arsenal back to back is to only get beat 1-0 in both those games, but then you go on and beat City. For me, it's a good season.
We all love to beat City. That is definitely, I will take that. I don't care if it's the under-8s beating them, like whatever. I will take beating City. Now, obviously, you mentioned about losing the players, the team that Casey has been developing. What has it meant for kind of like academy, like under 21 team? Have we seen any kind of special debuts? Have you got your eyes on any players that you think will be making a bit of a name for themselves?
Yeah, so I've been to a few of them games, and there's a player there who's just unreal, really, called Maria Edwards, who, I mean, I've been fortunate where I've watched players come through the lads academy, players like Greenwood and Rashford, players like that, even Pogba. But this girl's up there, if she's on them name levels, she's just that good. She's still quite young, but she's been on the bench a couple of times, which has been good for her. Another player called Chloe Williams, she's been on the bench. She's a Wales international as well. But the only player that's made the debut this season from the academy has been Rebecca May. She came on against Reading, and she's like a decent midfielder, really. And she's watching her in the under-21s. She's got a bit of a shot on her as well, outside the box. Loves to have a shot, which we don't really see much. We like to cross the ball in, or have a decent goal. You don't see anyone just blasting it from outside the box, and she's good at that. So the next season we've got talent there who they can utilise whenever they want, because these girls are still young. You call it the under-21s, but they're all 16, 17, 18, so they can be there for a little while, and you can use them how you need to. But yeah, if you get the opportunity, if you ever see Maria Edwards play for the first team, you keep an eye on her, because honestly, she's something different. Nat will tell you all about her.
Yeah, I love Maria Edwards. For me, I think if you watch Lauren James, or anyone who's ever watched Lauren James, it's like a carbon copy, and she's only 17, Lauren's 18. For me, the future's bright. Rebecca May came on and made her debut. She wasn't embarrassing, she had a one-on-one with the keeper. Unfortunately, the keeper got there before her, but she held her own against Reading, an established Super League team. I think there's the captain of the under-21s as well, Poppy Lawson. I think she's gonna do good things. She's a centre back. We might see her, maybe if they need cover. You see like a Twanzebe coming at right back. You might see things like that happening, but she's mainly a centre back. But they're putting effort, time into the under-21s like they do with the men's team academy. So it won't be long before we see some of these girls signing professionally for Man United and playing week in, week out.
What I'd like to say as well, sorry, is
this
is the first season as well of the under-21s. When the team was established, all the focus was on the first team. They had like a development team, which was just a bit of a carryover from the academy side. Well, this has been the first season where there's been a league structure for the girls, the under-21s. And if you look at, like, once again, teams like Arsenal, who've got an amazing academy system for the girls, City, the same, they get, just like the lads, who get players from here, there and everywhere, the best what they can get. We've beaten City home and away. We drew with Arsenal at home. And so in their first season, what they've done, I think, is tremendous, coming across really decent players. And it's only time will tell what these players can actually do. Like I say, first season, not even had a full season. So give it 2 or 3 years, we'll really see what these players are about.
So we basically just need to get all these players and just keep them hidden from Arsenal and Manchester City scouts, basically, is what you're saying. Just hide them away somewhere in a cave or something. Because obviously, like you say, like Arsenal, especially, unfortunately, when I drive around a certain area of Manchester and I see that stupid bridge and that stadium that they've got, they do have a great academy, as much as it hurts me to say that, for the men and the women. You kind of just touched on it, but are you confident that, especially with the ethos of Manchester United, which the men's team, which the women do seem to be following, are you confident that given a certain amount of years, or maybe not even a certain amount of years because they're still doing so well, do you feel like our academy will be up there with academies like City and Arsenal, etc.?
Yeah, I really think so, because the under-16s, if you look, the players that United have brought through from there that have then gone on to do stuff, because United had a team, once you get to 16, it's see you later, join somewhere else. And you look at the players that have come through there, a lot of them have come back, actually. And if you look at our team at the moment, I mean, Katie Zellum, our captain, she came through there. It's been great, because if you look at this season, especially some of the players, well, I'd say a handful of players there, we've got back, they've come through the youth development system, they've gone elsewhere, and then we've got them back. I was going to say last season, the development to this season has been chalk and cheese, but I'd even say the start of this season to what it was, the last game has been chalk and cheese. He was basically the manager and an assistant. That's all it was, really. And then you look at the last game, the amount of coaches they've got now. They didn't even have a goalkeeper coach when I first went this season. Now you can see they're really focused on it, and they want to make this important, because it is, if they want to mirror the first team, the men's team, sorry, you look at them, the players that have come through and what assets they've been to us. Rashford, he's probably one of our most profile players at the moment, and then even Greenwood, he's still a kid and he's getting how many goals he's got. So they've really got to look at this, and I think they are doing, and I think it's they're going to do this the Manchester United way, and I think Casey's a fan of that, because I think she's been looked at it in the past and seen what they've done and wants to emulate that with the women.
Definitely. Man United way, like Dave said. That's what it's all about, and that's what we love to see.
What we like to hear, definitely. After so many years watching the men's team, not knowing if we're going to stick to that United way, I think, like I say, to have it with the women's team is definitely special. But with the rest of the season, obviously you guys have said United are in fourth, not a bad position to be in at all. Like you said, Nat, if the season finishes now, you would be very happy with that. What is the latest? As I know that it had been obviously suspended with coronavirus. Is that indefinitely now, or?
It's still in the way the men are. Nobody really knows what's going on. So the Super League and the Championship, and then everything below that's been cancelled. Them two leagues are still active, even though the players are stuck at home like everyone else is. They're basically doing what the men are, training at home. They're not really interacting with anyone else. But one of the main differences, a lot of the women, they live together, where they're housed together in digs, so they can do a lot of the training together, which is more helpful than it is for the men, really. But for me, I really don't know. I can see it being cancelled. There's a lot of talk about it being playing behind closed doors, but I just can't see that happening. I think the players' safety, I think a lot of managers won't want to play it because they'll think of the players' safety. And it's getting to that point now. We're in May now. How long can this go on before we put an end to it and say, yeah, let's just call it quits?
I think I agree with Dave, but I think it might get played behind closed doors at St George's Park, the England facility. We'll just have to wait and see. It will get televised. There's the FA Player. You can watch all the games. MUTV always show a lot of games for the women. So obviously, like us fans that go down regularly, we want to be there. We want to be supporting the way we do. But obviously, coronavirus, you've got to think of safety of everyone. And if it's points per game, finishing fourth, everyone's happy.
I guess, like you say, if it finishes now how it is in fourth, I guess it's not a bad spot to be in. You've then got maybe the rest of the summer to continue training, getting ready for next season. How do you think next season is going to unfold? Whether this season continues or not, what are your kind of hopes for next season?
It all depends really on the personnel we bring in. If it's more or less the same players we've got now, it'll be more or less the same. I think a lot, maybe if you got to think about teams like Tottenham who are around us, round about there. If they improve and we don't, they'll probably go ahead of us. So you got to move with the times a bit and get the right personnel in. I think we need this season's shown that we've not got someone who can score 15, 20 goals a season. If we can get someone like that in, I think if we had that this season, I think we could be challenging for that Champions League spot. But we just not had that, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident Casey can bring the players in, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I've heard a few rumours about a young Spanish striker who might be coming, so that'll be interesting to see. She plays for Levante now, Evanero, I think her name is. I'm not good at names, but there's talk of German striker potentially coming in. Second in the Bundesliga, she's got for goals. So someone like that, wingers, maybe fullbacks. We'll have to see. I think though, whatever's going to happen, I trust Casey to bring in the right names and improve this team. That's what it's all about: pushing the players that are there, getting the best out of them, and getting the best out of maybe some young guns who come through. That's the way we like to see it. And I think pushing for third next year. That's what I want us to be doing. I'm sure the fans probably want that, playing in Champions League. That's where the name Man United should be, men and women. So soon we might have European nights for both and, more coverage of both out there for the whole world to see.
I'm pretty excited from what you guys have said. There does not seem to be many kind of negatives. I think we could sit here all day and poke holes in the men's team and the amount of negatives that are probably going on. It doesn't seem like we've got any kind of Pogbas kicking off and calling the shots. Seems like it's a really great group of girls that just kind of want to do well. And I think from what you said, the manager as well, I'm pretty hopeful. I'm saying, what we're all saying, if we're looking to the future, next couple of years, I intend to be at a flipping Champions League game for the women. Like the positive vibes that you guys have given me. I mean, are we right to get that excited and be dreaming that big?
I would. Sorry, Dave. I would.
I'm doing it. I'm done.
The only thing that I think I don't want to see is Casey Stoney. She's being linked to the England job. Phil Neville's recently left, due to leave next year. It's about saying to England, stay away. This is our manager.
Protect her at all costs. I think she needs to maybe go into that cave with the academy players that people might be coaching. I mean, just touching on England, there's one or two United names. I know there's a lot of Manchester City names, but obviously the Euros that were supposed to be taking place 2021 have now been postponed. I think for football fans, seeing the women's team for England and how it's developed has been really exciting. And I think it was one of the main things that has kind of grabbed a lot of the focus on women's football was probably that World Cup a couple of years ago. Are you confident that we're going to be maybe seeing a few more? Obviously, it depends who we sign and stuff, but some of the players that we've got now, are you confident that we may be seeing some more of those in Euro 2022 now? Yeah.
It all depends who the manager is, really, once because I like Phil Neville, but he doesn't like to change things. He's had more or less the same team for the past 4 years. He's not really added anyone new to it. And I think that's why it all depends on the new manager. You need someone fresh face who can bring in, who will basically look at the league, look at someone like Lauren James, who she should be in that England squad. There's no doubt she should be in it. She may not be a starter with the style of football they want to play, but she's such a big asset. She can score goals against anybody. She's hard to get the ball off, but she's not even got a look in, and makes you wonder really what are they looking at when they come to watch her. So it all depends on the manager, but you'd like to hope so, because these players playing for England, if they get that opportunity, it's going to boost the confidence and make them better players, I think.
I think we'll see maybe Millie Turner, Katie Zellum, Lauren James. I think those are the names that you need to look out for coming through the England ranks soon.
Fantastic. I will be keeping my eyes peeled on that. I think one last question, just finishing off. Obviously, women's football has been such a hot topic, shall we say, over, quite a few years now. We've seen slow progression, I would say. Obviously, teams like Manchester United having a women's team, even if you look in Europe, I know that, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, that like Barcelona have got their women's team. Real Madrid look like they're starting to maybe sort things out finally. It seems like this is kind of the next couple of years are going to be quite big for women's football. Just even Manchester United aside, do you feel like things are kind of moving in the right direction?
I think that when the Euro, we don't know when the Euros are going to, is it 2022 now they're going to be?
I think so, yeah.
Well, that competition's in England, so these they're going to be using Leigh Sports Village where United play. They're going to be using the Academy Stadium where City play, and there's going to be quite a few venues. Old Trafford's supposed to be the opening game, so I think a lot of people will, because it's a European competition, it's not going to be as pricey as the men playing. I think a lot of people will go for the first time to say they've been to a European competition, and I think they'll come away from it enjoying it, and then they'll look at the local teams or whoever they support. If they're an Arsenal fan, they might go, oh, I'll look at Arsenal women. If they're United fan, they might look at United women. And I think it'll bring a lot more people into it. Like you say about the World Cup, a lot more people started watching it because they watched the World Cup and enjoyed it. And I think if you actually go to a game, it's going to make you enjoy it a lot more. And I think that the Euros will definitely help with that.
Yeah, I think teams like Man United coming in, Spurs now being in the top league as well, it's brought a lot of new fans into the game. And I think, even like you said, Real Madrid coming now, there's going to be a lot of big rivalries that are in the men's game that are normal for us, and we're just going to see it as the same, competing for Real Madrid for Champions League, competing with City, our noisy neighbours all the time. It's going to be, these games are going to be non-stop, men and women.
Well, I will say, guys, you've done a pretty good job on educating a little bit of a women's football novice in me. I think one massive thing to take away from this is that basically for everybody that's watching, a lot of the frustrations that you've got with the men's team, you're actually not going to find with the women's team because you're going to be more entertained, I think is what I'm taking from this.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see us maybe beating City a little bit more with this women's team. And I think it's been really interesting finding out these bits of information. And I think, again, for United fans that, don't have the money to get a season ticket at the men's game, people struggle just to get to one game a year sometimes. I think, like you say, being able to go down to the Sports Village where it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, but you're still getting to see your team play well. And to have that sense of community like you guys touched on, I think it's really special, and I think it's going to be a very exciting couple of years, definitely.
Definitely. Thanks for having us on, and thanks for talking about it. Go on.
No worries.
Just like you were saying there about the cost, I think season ticket costs the same price as it would just to go for one ticket at Old Trafford. So it shows you what it's all about. And I would suggest if you do have kids, to take them along, because all the players at the end of the game, they'll come over, say hello, they'll inspire young girls and young lads to play football. And, to meet United players, something like kids want to do, and the players will spend time with you, which you don't really get with the men. So all in all, I just think it's a good day out for a family, really. So I suggest you do that if you've got the opportunity.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, guys. Nat, Dave, where can everyone find you over on social media?
You can find me at David J. Pritt on Twitter, and I think it's just David Pritt on Instagram.
Perfect.
And me, it's Natalie_17 and Natty B on Instagram. And also go check out Barmy Army, MUFC. So that's our supporters club. So there's a lot of content about the women on there, and that's across all socials, Barmy Army.
Fantastic. Make sure everyone checks that out. Obviously now I am more over at One Football, but you will still find me doing a few bits and bobs with Full Time Devils. Don't forget to check out everything that they have got going on the channel. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And thank you for watching and joining us for a little bit of women's football education, and we'll hopefully see you all soon.